Yo friends, how's it going? How are you? And welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well. Chelsea are winless in 5 Premier League games, so if you're a Chelsea fan, and odds are you are, not going great. Today I'm speaking about this Chalobah story. Eghbali, Chelsea co-owner, getting on the blower to the Chelsea centre-back, personally asking him to return. We are citing articles from both The Athletic, which was originally called by David Ornstein and followed up by Matt Law of The Telegraph. I also want to speak a little bit on Nicholas Jackson, who's been the subject of a lot of abuse on my social media when I do live streams and talk about it. And indeed in the comment section here on the channel. I do share a lot of the same sentiments as you guys, so I want to get into that as well. But in the meantime, I'll thank you for joining me. Thanks as always for supporting the content. You're all welcome here, man. So come on in. If you want to do us a favor, drop a like and subscribe if you want to. And hit the bell if you choose to. Let's get into it. Righty-ho then, so where's Fofana injured, Benoit Badiashile injured, Joshua Chiampong highly rated, though perhaps we need something else in the back line, especially if this essay is going to go in January. And lots of people are speaking about Chalobah, so we're going to reference this article here first from David Ornstein, who originally called this story, and then since other people have followed up, like Romano and Matt Law and stuff. It reads like this: Chelsea have activated a clause to recall Chalobah from his loan spell at Crystal Palace. He joined them on a season-long loan, which included an option to bring him back at the midway point. Now, basically, they have now triggered that mechanism, and the 25-year-old defender will return to Stamford Bridge with immediate effect. It means he will not be available for Palace when they travel to Leicester City on Wednesday, which is today. Having made 14 appearances since moving there in August, Chalobah's impressive form and availability to help a backline depleted by injury means he is expected to play a more important role under Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca in the second half of the campaign. A good relationship between all parties helped facilitate the transfer originally, and there is appreciation at Chelsea for Palace's handling of the matter. Well, okay, fair enough. Fofana and Badiashile are currently out injured. Joshua Chiampong are good, but, basically still needs time to grow up as a teenager, he needs time to settle. And, of course, Levi Colwill, who's good as well, but he's 21, Liam Twomey writes this. This is the latest twist in a turbulent few months for Chalobah, who had every reason to believe his Chelsea career was over when he joined Palace on a season-long loan in August. Chelsea made it abundantly clear throughout last summer that he would not be in head coach Enzo Maresca's plan for the season. Guys, do you remember this? This was pretty brutal. So they're omitting him from the club's pre-season tour squad, didn't take him to America. They took his squad number off him and put him in the bomb squad. Chalobah responded by making a positive impact at Palace and shifting circumstances at Stamford Bridge, who now granted him an unexpected opportunity to re-establish his value to Chelsea and the injury absence of Wesley Fofana. And of course, there's a bit of where it leaves Palace, but, it's not... I don't really want to spend airtime on that. Look, I've got thoughts on this. I'm going to give you my thoughts in just a moment. And of course, Matt Law follows up on this as well, writing the same thing. Chalobah's return will cover the absence of Fofana and Badiashile, while Axel Disasi is expected to leave this month. Not open to leave this month, he is expected to leave this month. Without Fofana and Badiashile, Chelsea have struggled at the back, and Tuesday night's draw against Bournemouth was the 5th successive Premier League game that they failed to win. And he's also basically explaining here how it's a release clause activated in January. Let's talk about this. First of all, good, great. He was treated badly, man. And many Chelsea fans will be happy that, now they're seeing the value of Chalobah. This is a good thing. They're accepting the mistakes. But I think Romano is saying the same thing, and other people on social media are suggesting, there's been reports, by the way, that Eghbali, Chelsea co-owner, got on the phone to him, Chalobah, directly and tried to convince him of his value and the reasons why they're recalling him, and he'll be utilised. Chalobah himself, if he is getting assurances to play, because presumably he's agreed. I know we could just bring him back, but we'd want to bring him back happy. So presumably he's agreed. So Chalobah might be thinking, all right, playing in the later stages in the European competition. It's the Conference League, but if he's starting games and lifts trophies and was involved in every knockout game in the Europa Conference League, and that's an experience to be had. Chelsea, of course, are still in the FA Cup. Chelsea are trying to get top 5. What does this mean? I do feel like, personally, the general vibe hasn't changed. Chelsea want to sell Trevoh Chalobah. In fact, let me just double check. Well, yeah, to just check, some reports suggesting that Chelsea still want to sell him. Romano's confirming that he did agree to come back and he'll be ready to return with immediate effect. And that Enzo Maresca has approved the decision, which makes me think when he sidelines players, I do genuinely believe Chilwell is just not a player for him. I do genuinely believe that in terms of profile. But players like maybe Raheem Sterling, because Raheem Sterling could be a 1v1 winger. I mean, maybe not. Maybe he wants to spend time with the high ceiling players at the moment. But Trevoh Chalobah, you know, he can pass. He can play the Disassi role of the hybrid right back, right centre back really, really well. You know, so I when he was like, oh, he's not ready for me, I wonder if it's just a pure profit exercise from the sporting directors. I don't think that's changed. I think Chelsea want to sell Trevoh Chalobah. And in a way, I think Trevoh Chalobah might accept his time at Chelsea long term is up. I'm not saying this definitively. I'm making a guess here. But still, there is an idea that this could still benefit both parties. Yes, so essentially it could benefit Chelsea because they have cover till the end of the season, and a player that scores the odd goal, he's playing this role where Wesley Fofana and Axel Disassi were covering. Wesley Fofana's now injured. Disassi, we've learnt more and more, he's not appropriate for the role. Okay, so Trevoh Chalobah he can help us to the end of the season until maybe, Mark Gay, he will have 12 months left on his contract. Maybe Chelsea push for him then. And for Trevoh Chalobah himself, it's worth mentioning, this is a good move for him because if he wants that summer move, that transfer, what's better? To stay at Palace now, where he's done all right. He didn't have the best start, but he's doing pretty well now, yeah? Or move to Chelsea. I think if he's got assurances that he's going to play, I think this is good. Because imagine if you're a prospective buyer in the summer. You're right, Trevoh Chalobah, let's have a look. Tuchel liked him, he's played in the Champions League. He got a new contract at Chelsea. He's 25. He's entering his prime. What do we know about him recently? Well, Chelsea didn't fancy him profile-wise. He went to another Premier League team to play in the best league in the world. Did so well that they were like, oh, God, we need him back because he's good and we need him to navigate this period. And then he's proving himself at an even higher level. So if he does well at Chelsea for this remaining months of the season, he looks great. It almost looks even better if he was just at Chelsea all season playing in and out, because we sent him away and we're like, oh God, he's good. Bring him back. Save us. And then he can do well. It's like he's showing he's good in multiple systems under multiple coaches and multiple clubs in one season. He probably would have preferred to stay at Chelsea, be a starter and play for Chelsea forever. But I think he's come out looking pretty darn good, basically. So he'll probably recognise that. If he plays loads of high profile minutes for Chelsea, then come the summer, remember Bayern Munich wanted him. He rejected Nottingham Forest, which maybe now in hindsight, it was a while ago now, but maybe if he'd stayed there, it'd be like, in a fairy tale title race. But you know what I mean? You can understand why he rejected the likes of Nottingham Forest, and he was like, I want to go to Bayern. Of course, Tuchel left Bayern, the interest cooled. But I think he comes out looking pretty good here, and this will give him the opportunity to have better suitors come the summer. All right. Okay, well, let's spend some time and speak about Nico Jackson. All right, so he caught a lot of heat, right? He caught a lot of heat after our draw yesterday with Bournemouth. He missed a couple of chances, but like he caught a lot of heat. I just want to reference something here. Cy Phillips on X posted this picture of the top 5 Chelsea performers for FotMob, like statistics, football app. Top of the table was Enzo Fernandez, and I'm inclined to agree with that. I think also SofaScore put him at the top. It was an excellent performance from Enzo Fernandez all round. He made like 7 key passes or something insane and was crashing the box loads. And then in second place, it was Nico Jackson. Third place, Cole Palmer. Fourth place, Reece James. Nicholas Jackson, right? played really good football yesterday. Now, wait, hear me out. Obviously, he had that worldy assist, an amazing assist for Cole Palmer for the opener. That sort of the way he held the ball up, turned, and then played that perfectly weighted ball. And then he was doing the right stuff, getting in the right place. He had 2 high-profile, misses, but one was the cutback from Noni Madueke. And if you look at that, it was a bobble and bounce. It's not an easy chance whatsoever. And then that amazing ball from Palmer, he puts it near post, it's saved onto the post or something. Like, it's not like he scuffs it. Maybe he needs to head it into the ground, an elite attacker. But the fact is, he didn't miss a sitter. There was no sitters, but there were chances. And he didn't score. He got a great assist, but he played well generally, and to the point where I know eye test and stats are very different things, but FOTMob put him a very close second to Enzo Fernandez in first for Chelsea's best performers statistically in that game. Now, he is a 23-year-old forward that we got for a really good value, who's helped Chelsea a lot and scored goals and chipped in, and he's playing really well, and he's got an amazing understanding and link up with Cole Palmer. That is not a player that you abuse and slag off. He's young as well. I agree with many people. I don't think he's necessarily going to be like an Erling Haaland superstar goal return, but he's going to be really, really useful. He'll get assists, he'll run the channels, and we're very lucky to have him. And when people are frustrated about poor results, and you'd have to say a draw against Bournemouth at home is a poor result, despite how good Bournemouth are or whatever, and I know they've given out bloody noses, but still, it's because we've come off so many. We're winless in 5, guys. So I understand it. But people want to blame someone. I saw people blaming Enzo Maresca, which is unfair because I feel like he set us up perfectly in that first half. We had 13 times the amounts of shots they did, 13 shots to 1. We were so dominant. Tactically, we were set up perfectly, and everything was great. Everything was great, and I endorse the substitutes made as well. Of course, there was no Nkunku sub, but I think that's probably because he's being sold this month. So, fine from the manager. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but for me, there's no issue with the manager there. The issue is with the young Chelsea team facing adversity. So we scored 2 goals, right? And the 2 goals we conceded are what we need to look at, because we always concede. Nico Jackson will score goals. I'll speak about another striker in a moment. But, between Lavia and Caicedo conceding that dumb penalty, Joshua Champong, he did get hooked after the Semenyo goal, because Semenyo just basically wasn't bothered by him at the near post. He was like, yeah, whatever, mate, lashed it in. I'm not saying that's an error from Champong. I think, he was excellent in many, many ways in that game, but maybe there was an 18-year-old centre-back just coming up against a bit of a superstar. And maybe a Chalobah does different. I don't know in that scenario. We'll see what happens there with the recall. By the way, just a reminder, Matt Law does confirm that the expectation remains Chalobah will leave Chelsea permanently at the end of the season. But the club and he and the club realise they can help each other in the meantime, which is, of course, kind of builds off what I was speculating a moment ago. So yes, look, Nicholas Jackson shouldn't be getting abuse. It's not dropping Timuri Bakayoko performances or Axel Disasi performances, dare I say, lately. In fact, he's been dropping really good performances. He needs to score a goal just because he's a striker for his confidence. He seems quite emotional, but, he got an amazing assist, and had it been just... If he scores just one of those goals, you're speaking about him as a superstar. He scored the winner, he made a worldy assist, and he ran all the channels and got all the stats. Great. It's very fine margins from being good. Does that mean I want to trust him to be the striker for Chelsea right now in these hard moments? No. I would like a striker. I'd like a more senior or a more accomplished goal scorer, but I do not want to denigrate Jackson, his development. I'll absolutely not slag him off. I think he was a wonderful signing, and he can play out wide as well. We've seen, I know Maresca talked about he's not his style of wide player, but boy, if Nicholas Jackson's your second choice striker, you are absolutely laughing, mate. So, yes, we're very lucky to have him. He was an excellent signing. He played really well for the most part. And as for all these people want to be as reductive as goal scorers score goals, strikers score goals, that's all they do. That's the main job, but let's be real. I was trying to use in the comments, replying people, reminding them of Roberto Firmino, how he won Liverpool Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues for being a facilitator. There's something to be said. Like, trust me, there's something to be said to be helping your team like that and getting assists and pressing really, really well. So he's a really useful forward. We're good, like, you know, good to have had him. I would personally get a striker this month, especially if Nkunku's going. We've seen Kolo Muani's going to Juventus now. I don't know if I doubt we'll be able to get Liam Delap out of Ipswich. Of course, Matisse Tell they've been linked with. I'm not sure we'll be able to get him this month. Maybe a deal could be done with Bayern Munich. But it does feel, and I know Matisse Tell is kind of a versatile forward as well that can play wide, but he can also play as a striker. Probably a better centre forward option than Christopher Nkunku. And a natural goal scorer as well. Alright guys, let me know what you think. Please do leave your thoughts and feelings and emotions down in the comment section below. As always, I'll thank you for joining me here in Football Therapy. Hope to see you back here very soon. Look after yourselves. Peace.